Hey, what's up guys? Node Investor here. Got a good video for you guys today. I'm going to respond to some questions. Been getting some requests on, hey, can you talk Golem? Can you talk DigiByte? Can you talk Siacoin and others? So that's what I'm going to do today, guys. I'm going to talk some of these micro cap coins, right? Some of these off the beaten path, but it's you can also point out some of the cool innovations that we're seeing using blockchain technology. So let's point that out. So I'm going to try to keep it that. I'm not going to go over all the normal charts I go through. I will talk charts, of course, but I'm not going to cover Bitcoin, Ripple, Dash, none of that good stuff. I'll answer some quick questions at the end. Let's take a quick look at the markets because there is something I want to point out on the markets. Bitcoin, $1,808. Ethereum, $87. Dash looking weak, $82. LITECOIN, I know there's a lot of questions on LITECOIN, bouncing a little bit here, $25. Monero, $27. Pulled back quite a bit, Monero. Ripple, you know, it's like every other video I see is Ripple, 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 Ripple. I get it, Ripple. 35-cent Ripple. Ethereum Classic, just shy of $6. PIVX, $1.15. I picked up some PIVX yesterday, just subbed on $1. I'll go into that here. Zcash 87, Factom $8.80. Nem. Oh man, Nem up 52. I'm gonna have to look at Nem. It wasn't on the list today, but I own a little Nem, so we got to see what's going on here. And Stellar Lumens, $4 or 4 cents, excuse me, 0.48 cents. So one thing I do want to point out, guys, Ripple has been on a little bit of tear here. Total coin market cap, $62 billion. I think it was just a couple weeks ago I was telling you guys, hey, we're at 30 billion, we're at 40 billion. Look at that, $62 billion. Ripple yesterday in the morning, very early, was $11 billion market cap. By the time I checked it in the evening, it was $16 billion market cap. Ripple's market cap grew by $5 billion in one day. $5 billion. Now that may not sound like a lot. It's huge actually. But to put into perspective, I added up some numbers and I said, how much is that? I started with Dash, number 6. And I started adding these bad boys up until I got to 5 billion. How far down did I have to go down the list? All the way to number 40. So in one day, Ripple's market cap grew the equivalent of Dash, Ethereum, Stellar, Bitcoin, Monero, Steem, Golem, etc., all the way down to 40 combined. Incredible. Also, not sustainable. I'm a fan of Ripple, guys. Don't get me wrong. I told you guys to get in around 14 cents after the pullback, but this is a little frothy here. Just pointing that out. Not saying to sell it, but probably not a time to get in. Let's let it set up a little bit, okay? So let's move on. So let's talk the charts that we all want to know about. So Golem. Let's look at Golem. So these are not recommendations to buy or sell or do anything with these. These are just strictly looking at some charts and talking a little bit about what they are. So Golem's kind of a cool blockchain innovation in that they are going to distribute computing power. And so like if you have a spare computer or something and you can somebody needs your computing power from across the world, they can tap into that network. And you can earn money with that, right? In a nutshell, I get there's a whole lot more technical to that, but so Golem's a cool innovation. Personally, I think the computing aspect of blockchain is still a ways off. I'm not 100% sold on Golem, the technology, the platform yet. I like the idea, don't get me wrong. But the actual charts, look at the chart. So this is Golem BTC. This is the daily chart. It's been on a nice uptrend that started, Gold's really new, guys. So let me back out of this bar here. So you can see basically um, early March down here, real tight at about, what is that, 17, 16, 1700 Satoshi there. And then it just started marching along. Nice volume coming in, big volume coming in, huge volume this day, popped it all the way up to basically 20,000 and then back down. Um, and it's kind of put in this beautiful cup and handle right here. I mean, this, you see this pullback, see the volume really dry up, and then on the right side of the cup, you see the volume pick up again, and it basically hits the previous high area, which is what happens a lot of times is folks that bought here see it come back, they see it pop right back up, they sell to get out of break even, and then it pulls back a little bit. Perfect example of a cup and handle. Volume dries up just real nice, and then boom, you see the breakout on volume, and then Golem proceeds to go up. Let's see how much that was. That's a pretty healthy amount on the breakouts. Yeah, basically it went up 132% before it retreated back to this zone here, but that's still a double, basically 100%. Has since been on a little bit of a pullback, basically now just sitting above the first bar on this breakout. Um, I'm not liking this right now, but the volume hasn't been very high. So if you like Golem, this might not be a bad place to look at it. It's kind of lining up with this nice trend line that's building up here. So, not against Golem here. I personally am not picking Golem up. Maybe I'll regret that one day, but I'm not looking at it right now for myself. But if you like it, that's kind of what it looks like. Let's see, zoom in a little bit. Look at this 4-hour chart. This is basically the last chart on the bar. So this is live as we speak. Looks like it wants to pop up here. I'd like to see a pretty solid break of this downtrend before I did anything. This is just proven to be a little bit of a resistance. Just happens to coincide with this lower trend. So who knows? Maybe Golem's going to move up here longer term. Who knows? Maybe Golem's going to move up here longer term on the dailies. Definitely looking like it's having a nice steady climb here. Another one in the computing blockchain based innovation is Siacoin. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Siacoin. This is another newer one, and look at this huge bar, right? So if I back out, there's basically no data here that's actionable. So not a lot to go off of here. If I just look at, this is a daily, one big bar, two big bars, basically take it to from zero up to where we're at. Put in a little bit of a consolidation pattern here. I wouldn't really call that a base, but it's nice over, what is that, 10 days or so. And then just yesterday had the big pop. And so maybe it wants to run. Volume certainly there. Siacoin is one of the smaller ones. Let's see where that sits on the list here. Siacoin, number 25, $104 million market cap. Basically 0.004. So 4/10 of a penny per token, up 52% in the last 24 hours. So again, what they do is they are cloud computing, distributed cloud computing, and the model is distributed storage basically. So instead of relying on an Amazon Web Service or Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud, where it's centralized basically, you would rely on the network to store your information. And I love that concept. I think that's a fabulous idea. I certainly think there's a market for that. Everyone says, hey, Amazon does it for way cheaper and way better. And that is true. And they do it at scale. But this type of innovation has a marketplace for folks that don't want to have to trust Amazon or Google or Microsoft with their data. So long as the network remains in place, your data is out there on the blockchain. So that's kind of cool. And it's encrypted. So it's not like your data's people can look at it. So Siacoin, let's take a look at the chart. Siacoin, there's really nothing to see on the daily other than it's just crazy strong right now. Wants to move up. If we look at a little bit more near term, let's look at the 2-hour chart. I had this big move. Looks like it's pulling back a little bit. Nothing crazy on the volume. It's mostly upside volume at this point. This is a big top. I mean, in the near term, right? Not on the daily, but if you want to look at it, certainly this little base breakout, I don't think it's going to come right back to that. It's going to probably stop somewhere in between there. I don't like to get too technical here on these technical indicators on these videos, but let's do a little bit of Fibonacci. If you guys are familiar with the Fibonacci retracements, I think there's a Fibonacci on here. Let me find it for you. And if we retrace the move, let's call it from here up to where we saw the peak earlier, basically right now it's sitting at the 61.8% Fibonacci, which is a key Fibonacci ratio if you're familiar with those. So pretty strong support right here. Is it going to stop? Looks like it wants to, but we'll see. It could also come down to this moving average right here and then continue further. So there you go, Siacoin. If you like it, in this 180 to 190 Satoshi range is definitely solid support. Will it get that low again? It looks like it tried to, but they're holding it up around 200. Not a bad entry point. I mean, it was 150. We're at 200 Satoshi. That's tiny in comparison to where this could possibly go. 100 million market cap. Hey, Ripple grew by 5 billion yesterday. 100 million is nothing these days. So let's look at the next one. Storage. So storage is another one that's in this same space. And I'll be honest, I tried downloading this Siacoin earlier today. Clunky, very clunky, not user friendly. I went to storage. Storage is just, it has that professional, polished startup feel, just very nice. I gotta admit, very nice on the storage. One thing to keep in mind with storage is they're doing an ICO right now. So right now the coin is SJCX, StorjcoinX. Horrible name, by the way, StorjcoinX. But they're going to go to storage, STORJ. That sounds great. So they're going to transition that. I believe the coin sale ends in about a day. But they are only 32 million in market cap, so they are tiny. But let's look at the charts here. Storage, again, this is BTC. And so if we look at the charts, again, and you're seeing this trend a lot here, guys, lately. This big pops on a lot of these, and some of these are a lot more pronounced. But basically, storage had the big pop today. Went from, let's call it 29,000 up to 46 and then even 50. So almost doubled in the span of about 4 hours. Crazy move up. Has since been pulling back in throughout the day. Saw this big volume drop earlier with a little bit of buying. Sitting right at a key moving average. I mean, it'd be crazy to see it get back to here. I think if it's going to bottom, it need to bottom here. One thing about storage, though, is if you look back at some longer term values, this one's been around a while too. So I think 2014 is when they started. Let me back into the dailies here so I can show you guys what I'm looking at. On the long-term chart, this is September of 2016. We had this prior top around 39,000 Satoshi there. Big pullback down to 10,000. Looks like it's testing that old high again around 37,000. So those are some key areas that I'd be looking at. If it can have a sustained move, this one bar doesn't really count. It's just a blip mostly. But if it can close above, let's call it 38, 39,000, this is going to be one to keep an eye on. Like I said, I like the technology. I like the idea where they're going. They're tiny. They probably have a lot more room to grow. Let's go to the website, check it out. So here's storage. I mean, just look at this. Looks nice. Looks clean. Looks professional. So check out the website. Do some research. This feels like maybe something more for the long term to keep an eye on. Put a little bit towards it and just let it sit. Probably nothing to be the next Ripple. You know, go to 10 bagger in the next 2 months, right? That's probably not going to happen with storage. But check storage out. It's an interesting story. I like the idea of this distributed cloud, so something to keep an eye on. Let's move on to the next one, DigiByte. So DigiByte's going crazy today. Where are they on the list here? DigiByte, where are you? Sorry about that, guys. Down here, number 35, 53, let's call it $54 million market cap, up 34% in the last 24 hours. So let's take a look at the charts. DigiByte. Again, these are on the BTC, guys. Look at this craziness here. This is on the PIVX. Let's obviously daily is not going to tell you anything. So if we zoom in, look at the granular 2-hour charts. Had the big run up. Seems to be putting in a little bit of a top around 420 or so. Pulling back, pretty controlled. Nothing extraordinary here, but it's basically came from 100 earlier today or yesterday up to 400, so quadrupled in a day. Pulling back a little bit. There's a lot of activity around DigiBytes, a lot of action, a lot of news, a lot of buzz. So something to keep an eye on. I don't know what to tell you guys. When something quadruples in a day, I'm not sure if it's buyable at that point. It could be if it sets up a little bit of a base here. Me personally, I'm not doing anything with this right now. Keeping an eye on it, that's for sure. But DigiByte's super strong. Again, micro cap, $53 million. So not in the billion club or anywhere near it at this point. Last one, PIVX. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit different chart on PIVX. So PIVX 115 bucks. It's kind of had this, if you go back earlier in the year, they were climbing nice, hit a little wall around 90 cents, 96 cents or so, bounced around there, finally popped, went straight up to $2 in April, has since been on this slow grind back down, but several times has tested this low dollar area, $1.15, $1.19, $7, $1.15 recently. It dipped under dollar briefly in the last couple of weeks. It was down 90 cents or so. If you look at yesterday, let's look at the 24-hour chart. See, we were down here, 96 cents. I saw it going up, and full disclosure, I picked up some PIVX. Not a lot, maybe 500 or so PIVX, but just put a little flyer out there to see where it goes. But I'm keeping an eye on PIVX. They're basically a Dash fork alternative to Dash. They did change it up a little bit, but one thing I like about PIVX is they have the same governance model as Dash, where a percentage of the coin goes towards the governance, the marketing, hiring developers, voting. I think that's awesome. That's a great thing for some of these cryptos to do. But basically, PIVX is their whole thing is they're trying to be a currency, private, anonymous. So again, tiny compared to everything else, 61 million market cap. But has been trading some volume here recently. So looks like it's on a little bit of a bottoming formation, but longer term, it's still got a long ways to go to look bullish. So PIVX has been a little bit on this down long-term grind. I'm not going to say it's bullish yet. I think it may be bottoming here, but this is just because I've seen it hit this dollar mark 3+ times in the last several weeks, month and a half or so. So I'm looking at it here. If this high 90s area doesn't hold, all bets are off on PIVX. But I really want to see it get above this, 130-ish area here pretty quickly. That's going to be it. So we covered Golem, Siacoin, Storage, DigiByte, PIVX. I know there's some questions on LITECOIN. Let's take a quick look at LITECOIN before we wrap it up. LITECOIN had the head and shoulders break, big snap down to the low 20 area, and looks like it's bouncing a little bit, but let's see where it wants to go. Let me clear this here for you guys. I don't confuse you with too much data here. So the longer term trend was broken. The head and shoulders neckline cracked. Earlier was at just above $20. So LITECOIN down pretty sharp. You guys recall I said if we break that, we're going to hit the low. If we broke the 25, 26 area, we'd hit probably low 20 area. That's basically where we've bottomed for now. My guess, total opinion here, I think that's a low in the near term, but it's going to have to get above 26 here pretty quickly for that to resume. Nice little mini inverted head and shoulders here. So it looks like it wants to pop So look for it above 26. If it goes above 26, best case, Litecoin's going to probably go into a little bit of a consolidation here, maybe go sideways for a while. I'm still a fan of Litecoin longer term, so I'm not giving up on it. Obviously, I did lighten up a little bit when I saw this bear pattern forming, but like I mentioned in the video the other night, I picked some up around 21 here. On the RSI, it's looking like it's recovering. So Litecoin is not looking bad right here. It's kind of in no man's land, so it's hard to say, guys. People are asking me, do I buy it here or do I sell it here? I bought it at 27. Hard to say. If you bought it at 27, there wasn't really much of an entry at that point, so it's kind of hard to tell you guys what I would do with that points. I mean, the buy points were down here in the the breakouts or at the $11, $12, $15 range. So hard to say. If you pick some up here, I mean, hold on. These things are certainly volatile. One thing to keep in mind, if Bitcoin and Ripple decide to really correct hard here, you can see a sell-off in a lot of these just on sympathy, right? We could see Litecoin and Ethereum and Dash and Monero really sell off. So, speaking of NEM, I forgot about that big NEM pop. Let's take a look at NEM real quick before we wrap it up. I want to see what's going on with NEM. NEM, guys, NEM. Oh man, that is beautiful. Keep an eye on NEM. Let's see if this thing holds overnight, but not sure what to say about NEM. NEM is blowing up, ready to rock. So I think the train has left the stations, ladies and gentlemen. Next move up is clearly beginning for NEM. Let's see on the dailies. Pretty solid looking there on NEM. Had that nice pattern here. Pulled back very nicely. Big move up. We'll see if it holds. NEM. One more I want to look at. Stellar Lumens. Stellar's one I'm keeping a very close eye on. I did pick some up. Not gonna hide that from you guys. I like Stellar here on this breakout. I picked some up here, added some more on this pull in. So I'm definitely in on Stellar. Let's see where it goes. It's holding this trend line nicely. One thing to keep in mind, Stellar moves in sympathy with Ripple. So again, if Ripple pulls back hard, I would not be surprising to see Stellar crack here. But Stellar looks like it's about to hit all-time highs here. So I'm liking Stellar sitting at these highs, tightening up very nicely. So keep an eye on Stellar. Stellar's looking good, guys. I believe it's like number 9 or 10 on the list here. Where's my list? Stellar is number 8, $440 million market cap. So that's going to do it for today, guys. A little bit of a longer video, some off the beaten path coins, but some pretty cool innovations that are coming out there, guys. So I know everything right now is about Bitcoin and Ripple and all that. So I thought I'd do something a little different. Hope you guys enjoy it. One last thing. I got a donation today. Whoever that was, thank you so much. Highly appreciated. I'm going to do my best to keep getting these videos out to you guys. Till then, take care.